Unelam juga liam persya Dr. Mukul sama hasi balang la takranting sekolah belam dengan pipi baong nak komle juga suka menta la ikom ba khlam jempang covid kan pensyu apa kan gejala ha jingkrem gelap thai kobor Dr. Mukul lo ong ba menta hiapan bu jingkylli ke Sorkar halokani ba suka ka dim kanit no na bu thia.
The issue pertaining to the whole, I must say, raising of hand by the government while dealing with the challenges of pandemic. And this is for all of us to be seen, and we must ask the government to actually wake up and respond to its call of duty in as far as dealing with these challenges associated with pandemic is concerned. Now, the way government is behaving is that as though the pandemic is over, as though they have nothing else to do, as though what they have done is enough, and they have left everything to the people. Please remember that this pandemic is still in our vicinity, and the impact on life is being felt by every citizen, every family across the state, across the nation, across the world. Therefore, this issue is another issue which will be taken up in the August House and see that the government wakes up from its that whole chalta hai attitude and respond to its call of duty. Besides this, the number of instances, the lack of power supply in the villages, students not being able to really even complete their whole studies, to complete their whole courses of studies. You all know that under the new normal, the educational institutions have resorted to online classes. What happens when there are no electricity supply in the villages? What happens, forget about villages, even in the urban areas? How inconvenience the students are subjected to, and how frustrating it must be for the students, even for the young kids. The young kids were telling us, sir, look at, we can't attend our online classes just because we don't have power supply. So this is one issue. Then the water supply issue. I've been paying. I by default is a resident in the constituency of the Chief Minister himself, and every day I'll end up spending 1,500 to 2,000 rupees for drinking water in Tura. And I'm sure others are also facing the same problem. So these are instances of problem which is really something where the government is thinking that, okay, they have nothing to do. Then the urban area, I think you know what is happening in urban area. The whole problem pertaining to the lack of initiatives to ensure that the civic amenities of the residents are taken care of. In spite of the programs sponsored by Government of India, in spite of number of initiatives by Government of India, whether it is for rural water supply scheme, whether it is for urban water supply scheme, whether it is for urban infrastructure, you talked about what do you call it? Smart city concept. Now we are talking about lack of civic amenities in a city which has been identified smart city. So these are issues which our distinguished colleagues in the August House will be taking up under the various available provisions of the rules of procedure and conduct of business. Then another important aspect is the roads, the important state highways. Now, maintenance of these important infrastructures, the road infrastructure, has been missing for last 3.5 years. Okay. We started number of initiatives to ensure that we have programs covered under externally aided projects, whether it is World Bank, whether it is Japan International Cooperation Agency, or whether it is by ADB, whether it is a fund under the NABARD in the form of Rural Infrastructural Developmental Fund, RIDF. Even the programs which are taken up by and rather covered by funding from these particular institutions, when we go and look at those projects, they are either half done or partly abandoned. This is what is happening. And the roads which were capable of enabling the drivers to drive at least 60 kilometer speed within the legal limit. I traveled to a number of destinations in Garo Hills recently. I had to change my cars. The cars which were used earlier in those roads cannot go. It's only because the overall maintenance of the roads are not taken cognizance of as the responsibility of the government. Number of important roads, just on the vicinity of Tura, in spite of so much of fund which was available, I would urge upon our friends from media to ask the government what happened to the timelines pertaining to the target given by World Bank to spend certain amount of money within a specified time. In respect of the fund under World Bank, by December 2019, they were supposed to avail 1,000 crore and spend 1,000 crore. It will be imperative for us to know from the government how much they have spent. Available fund which has been approved by World Bank. The quantum of fund which has been approved by World Bank. What made the government not decide upon utilization of those funds and deprive the state and delay the implementation of those projects? What is the reason? All those questions will be few of the issues which will be part of the proceeding of the House, and innumerable issues.